What narcissists are really afraid of in strong people. Have you ever been in a situation where a narcissist, someone who typically appears all-powerful and confident, suddenly shifts from being charismatic to aggressively defensive? If you've ever experienced this, you might have wondered, what truly scares a narcissist? After all, these individuals are often seen as invincible, self-assured, arrogant, and fully convinced of their superiority. But as it turns out, there's something that absolutely terrifies them, and it's not what most people expect. The real source of their fear is strong people, those who are self-assured, emotionally independent, and unafraid to stand their ground. You see, narcissists thrive on control, manipulation, and validation from others, and the one thing they cannot handle is being faced with someone who cannot be easily manipulated or controlled. But what is it about these strong individuals that sends narcissists into a state of fear? Why do they respond so aggressively to them? In this video, we'll explore the psychological dynamics behind the narcissist's fear of strong people and how this fear drives their toxic behaviors. By the end of this video, you'll have a much deeper understanding of why narcissists react so strongly to people who refuse to cater to their needs, and how this dynamic plays out in relationships, workplaces, and social settings. You might also start to recognize why narcissists often target certain individuals while avoiding others, those who have the inner strength to withstand their manipulative tactics. So stay with me as we explore the fascinating and often perplexing world of narcissism and uncover the truth behind what narcissists are really afraid of. The narcissist's greatest fear: losing control. At the heart of every narcissist's behavior is a deep and overwhelming fear of losing control. Narcissists are driven by a desperate need to dominate their environment and the people around them. Their sense of self-worth is fragile and dependent on external validation, so they constantly seek to maintain power and influence over others. But strong individuals, those who are self-sufficient and assertive, present a major threat to this fragile sense of control. These people refuse to be manipulated, and they don't feed the narcissist's need for constant admiration or approval. For a narcissist, control is everything. They use manipulation, guilt, and emotional blackmail to keep others in line and make sure they remain the focal point of attention. Narcissists will often employ tactics like gaslighting, triangulation, and passive-aggressive behavior to keep those around them in a constant state of confusion and dependency. This allows them to maintain the upper hand. However, when they encounter someone who is emotionally stable, self-confident, and able to set clear boundaries, they are confronted with a reality they cannot control. A strong person's ability to resist manipulation and remain independent creates an environment in which the narcissist can't thrive. What's truly terrifying to a narcissist is the fact that someone who is strong enough to stand their ground isn't easily influenced by their tactics. Narcissists know that their usual methods of control won't work on people who have a strong sense of self and an unwavering sense of boundaries. These individuals don't bend to the narcissist's will, and they don't seek validation from others. Narcissists are terrified of being exposed for the frauds they are, and strong people don't hesitate to call out their behavior, which only heightens their fear of being vulnerable. The fear of exposure. Strong people see through their facade. One of the most unsettling things for a narcissist is when someone sees through their carefully crafted facade. Narcissists are notorious for creating an image of themselves that is often vastly different from who they truly are. They may present themselves as successful, charming, and omnipotent, even though their actual lives may be filled with insecurity, failure, and self-doubt. This facade is a way for narcissists to maintain their self-image and to convince others of their superiority. However, strong individuals, especially those with emotional intelligence, are often able to see past the narcissist's outward persona. They can detect the insecurity beneath the arrogance, the vulnerability behind the bravado, and the manipulation hidden under the charm. When a narcissist's facade is exposed, they feel threatened on a deep existential level. They fear being unmasked for who they truly are, a person who relies on deception and manipulation to feel good about themselves. Strong people aren't fooled by these masks. Instead, they confront the narcissist with the truth in ways that are both direct and emotionally intelligent. Narcissists can't handle this because they depend on the illusion of perfection and superiority. Once that illusion is shattered, they are left with nothing but their insecurities, and this causes them to lash out in an attempt to reassert control. Strong people don't offer narcissists the validation they crave. Another thing that narcissists fear about strong people is that these individuals don't provide the validation narcissists so desperately seek. Narcissists require constant attention, admiration, and praise to maintain their fragile self-esteem. They often surround themselves with people who will inflate their ego and feed their need for approval. But strong people don't engage in this cycle. They don't need the narcissist's approval to feel good about themselves, and they don't seek to please or appease the narcissist in order to feel valued. For the narcissist, this is a terrifying situation because their entire sense of worth is tied to the admiration of others. If a strong person refuses to worship them, narcissists feel as though their whole identity is threatened. They will often try to provoke strong people by using tactics such as devaluation, belittling, or even cruel remarks, in an attempt to provoke a reaction that feeds their ego. However, a strong person will not be easily manipulated or swayed by these tactics. They are secure in who they are and do not need the narcissist's validation. This leaves the narcissist feeling powerless, as they are unable to assert their dominance in the way they used to. The fear of losing their influence and power. Narcissists thrive on having influence and control over others, but strong individuals present a challenge to their power. Unlike those who are more passive or eager to please, strong people are independent and self-sufficient. They are not easily influenced, and they do not rely on the narcissist to feel good about themselves or to navigate life's challenges. This independence is a direct threat to the narcissist's need for dominance. Narcissists fear losing their ability to control the people around them because it would mean the collapse of their carefully constructed world. Strong people, on the other hand, don't fall into the trap of relying on the narcissist for their sense of self-worth. This lack of dependency is unsettling for the narcissist as it strips away their influence. When they realize that their usual tactics won't work, and that the strong individual is impervious to their manipulation, narcissists often react with frustration and anger. The narcissist's paradox, admiring strength while resenting it. Interestingly, narcissists are often drawn to strong people, even though they fear them. They may initially be fascinated by their confidence, independence, and emotional resilience. In some cases, they may even try to engage with strong individuals because they are intrigued by the idea of being able to control someone who isn't easily manipulated. However, the more they try to dominate, the more they realize they are up against a wall. They cannot break the person's spirit, and this realization drives them to resentment. Narcissists may find themselves in a paradox where they admire the strength of others, but at the same time they cannot tolerate it. This dynamic can lead to toxic relationships, where the narcissist oscillates between admiration and devaluation. They may try to exploit the strong person for their own gain, only to retreat when they find they cannot control or dominate them. Ultimately, The narcissist's fear of losing control leads them to engage in a cycle of attraction, manipulation, and rejection. In conclusion, narcissists are deeply afraid of strong individuals because these people represent everything they cannot control: self-sufficiency, emotional stability, independence, and an unwavering sense of self-worth. Narcissists thrive on manipulation, power, and the constant validation of others, but they cannot stand the idea of being exposed or losing their grip on those around them. Strong people, by nature, refuse to be controlled, and this forces the narcissist to confront their worst fears. Whether in personal relationships, friendships, or professional settings, the narcissist will attempt to undermine and control strong individuals. But by understanding their underlying fears, we can better navigate these complex dynamics and protect ourselves from the emotional harm narcissists can cause. If you've ever found yourself in a battle of wills with a narcissist, now you know what drives their reactions, and you can use that knowledge to defend your boundaries and maintain your peace. Thank you for reading, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights on understanding and dealing with narcissistic behavior. Your strength and self-worth are your greatest assets, and recognizing the narcissist's fear of those qualities is the first step toward reclaiming your power. The pain experienced when a narcissist fails ruins your life. Have you ever been in a situation where someone you cared about deeply suddenly changed, pulling away or behaving in ways that left you feeling confused and hurt? The kind of emotional pain that lingers far longer than you expect. If so, it's possible that you encountered a narcissist, someone whose self-absorption and lack of empathy can leave those around them in a state of perpetual confusion, hurt, and emotional turmoil. But what happens when a narcissist fails? The consequences can be even more devastating, as their fall from grace is often accompanied by a toxic mix of manipulation, gaslighting, and emotional destruction that can unravel your life in ways you never imagined. It's not just about heartbreak, it's about survival. When a narcissist fails, whether in a personal relationship at work or in their social circles, the aftermath isn't just heartbreak. The failure of someone with such an inflated sense of self-importance can trigger a complex series of emotional events that ultimately affect you, often in ways that are far worse than you anticipated. To truly understand the depth of this experience, you have to first understand the nature of narcissism itself. Narcissism is often seen as a personality disorder, but it goes beyond just arrogance or vanity. People with narcissistic tendencies need constant admiration, and they view themselves as superior to others. Their inflated self-image is fragile, and any event that challenges their perception of themselves, especially a failure, can trigger intense reactions, from rage to withdrawal. The difficulty for those around them, however, is that narcissists often form relationships that are transactional, using others to prop up their sense of worth. When a narcissist fails, they can't handle the idea of being perceived as anything less than perfect. This leads to a dramatic shift in their behavior that can make life unbearable for those in close proximity. The narcissist's emotional collapse often leads to a wave of manipulation, gaslighting, blame shifting, and even physical or emotional abandonment. As they try to regain their sense of control, they may drag those around them into their downward spiral, all while completely disregarding the impact of their actions. Why does it hurt so much? To understand why the pain is so deep when a narcissist fails, consider what it feels like to be gaslighted. Gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation where the narcissist causes the victim to doubt their own reality, making them feel as though they're losing their grip on truth. This can be incredibly disorienting, especially when you trust this person. or when their actions are so contradictory that you find yourself questioning your own perceptions. Additionally, narcissists often engage in emotional abuse, even when they are unaware of it. In their quest to maintain control, they may use tactics like playing the victim, emotional withdrawal, or creating conflicts out of nothing to distract from their own failures. They may try to turn the blame on you, saying things like, "If only you had been more supportive," or "You don't understand the pressure I'm under." This not only compounds the confusion, but also makes you question your role in their failure. When a narcissist fails, their world begins to collapse around them, but instead of taking responsibility, they will often project their guilt, shame, and frustration onto others. The emotional devastation this causes is profound. It's not just the betrayal of trust, but the complete disregard for your feelings or your existence that can leave you reeling. The emotional rollercoaster of loving a narcissist. If you've ever loved a narcissist, you know the emotional highs and lows can feel like a roller coaster. In the beginning, everything seems perfect. The narcissist may shower you with love, attention, and validation, creating the illusion of an ideal relationship. However, this intense idealization is often followed by devaluation, a cycle that can cause immense emotional strain. Narcissists are masters of creating a sense of emotional dependency. They often feed off the admiration of others and will go to great lengths to keep their image intact. When they experience failure, they lash out or retreat, but either way, you are likely to be left behind, feeling abandoned, confused, and overwhelmed. The problem is that the narcissist's behavior often triggers deep-seated fears of inadequacy or abandonment within you. You may begin to question your worth or wonder if you somehow caused the narcissist's failure. The emotional toll this takes is exhausting. You begin to question everything you thought you knew about relationships. Were the moments of affection genuine, or was it just manipulation? Did they truly love you, or were you merely a tool to help them feel better about themselves? This constant uncertainty can leave scars that take years to heal, even after the relationship ends. The power of a narcissist's failure. One of the most insidious parts of a narcissist's failure is the way it impacts your life long after the incident itself. Narcissists rarely take responsibility for their mistakes or failures. Instead, they project the blame onto others, often accusing you of things you never did. This can make you doubt yourself to the point where you feel like you are the one at fault, even when it's clear that the narcissist's actions were the real issue. When a narcissist fails, their behavior can trigger a cycle of emotional pain that is hard to escape. You might try to rationalize their actions, to justify their behavior as a result of their insecurities or external pressures. But the truth is that narcissists rarely take accountability for their actions. This means that, rather than facing their failure, they will likely do everything in their power to avoid responsibility, leaving you to clean out the mess. The destructive cycle. Another painful aspect of dealing with a narcissist's failure is the ongoing cycle of trauma that follows. Once the narcissist has failed in some way, whether in their career, their relationships, or their personal goals, their reaction is often to retreat or become emotionally abusive. This creates a toxic cycle where you are constantly subjected to emotional manipulation and neglect, all while they continue to escape responsibility. In this cycle, the narcissist might show brief moments of affection or remorse, which can make you believe that the situation will improve. But over time, the manipulation and gaslighting will resurface, leaving you feeling helpless and stuck in a never-ending loop of confusion and self-doubt. Breaking free from the narcissist's hold. It is often difficult to break free from a narcissist's emotional grip, especially when you've been conditioned to believe that their behavior is normal. It takes time, self-awareness, and sometimes outside help to fully understand the extent of the damage caused by the narcissist's failure. One of the most important steps is to recognize that their behavior is not your fault. The narcissist's need for control and their inability to process failure without externalizing blame is at the heart of the problem. In order to heal from the pain caused by a narcissist's failure, you must first accept that you cannot change them. They will never take responsibility for their actions, and they will continue to try to manipulate or control you if given the opportunity. The key to healing is to reclaim your sense of self-worth and remove yourself from the toxic cycle they've trapped you in. Why you should never ignore your pain. If you've been affected by a narcissist's failure, you may feel a sense of shame or guilt. It's easy to think that you could have done more, been more supportive, or somehow prevented the narcissist from falling. But the reality is that no matter how much you sacrifice, the narcissist will always prioritize themselves over anyone else. Your feelings are valid, and the pain you're experiencing is real. Don't let the narcissist's behavior define you. It's essential to seek support, whether through therapy, trusted friends, or self-help resources. Healing is possible, but only if you acknowledge the depth of the emotional wound caused by the narcissist's failure. The pain caused by a narcissist's failure can feel like a betrayal of everything you believed in. But in time, you'll realize that it's not about their failure. It's about your journey to reclaiming your life and your emotional well-being. Narcissists often leave a trail of destruction in their wake, but they don't have to control your future. Thank you for reading, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with anyone who might benefit from this message. Remember, your worth isn't defined by the people who fail you. You have the ultimate power to heal and move forward. Behavior Expert reveals exactly what to say to a narcissist. If you've ever encountered a narcissist in your personal life, workplace, or social circles, you know how exhausting and bewildering it can be. The constant manipulation, the need for admiration, the inability to accept criticism. These are just a few of the traits that can make dealing with a narcissist feel like you're navigating a minefield. But here's the thing. Many people don't know how to respond when faced with a narcissist's toxic behavior. What should you say? What can you say that won't escalate the situation or leave you feeling worse? Today, we're going to reveal exactly what to say to a narcissist to not only protect yourself, but also regain control of the conversation. By the end of this video, you'll understand the words that can diffuse their manipulative tactics, maintain your boundaries, and most importantly, preserve your emotional health. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty details, I want to take a moment to invite you to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share it with anyone who could benefit from this crucial information. We've got some powerful insights ahead, so be sure to stay with us until the very end. This could be the key to transforming how you handle narcissistic encounters in your life. When you think about interacting with a narcissist, what's the first word that comes to mind? Maybe difficult, manipulative, or draining. All of these are accurate. But what makes narcissists so uniquely challenging is the way they twist words and situations to serve their own inflated sense of self-worth. Narcissists thrive on admiration, control, and validation. They don't just want your approval, they demand it, often to the point of ignoring your own needs, emotions, and boundaries. This creates a highly toxic environment